Hey guys, it's Maymay and welcome to another video. Today, I'm going to talk to you about the topic of analysis paralysis. This is so cool. We have been recently on our socials putting out questions to ask you guys, and I've kind of been doing that for a couple of reasons. One, because I want to talk to you, but two, I want to hear what you've got going on because it helps me in planning videos for you guys, and this was a perfect example. So in one of the questions, Chloe answered, I want to be a card maker, but I get analysis paralysis. Do you guys know what that is? That's where you kind of just analyze so much that you can't do anything. So today I want to give you 5 ways to avoid that. They won't be perfect, but there'll be some pretty good ideas. And what I'm going to do, you guys will know, my Saturday night video that I had planned for y'all last week did not work, and it was these guys. So I'm going to redo this one just so you can see the technique while we talk about it. Let me kind of show you what I'm going to be using as we chat today. This is the Lisa Horton Floral Teacup Embossing Folder. It looks like this. It also has a die that cuts this guy out, and that's what I used on my card, so you'll see that in just a little bit. This is just some watercolor paper that I'm using, and this is my We Are Rotating mat. I love this guy for this kind of process because I can stick this down onto my little sticky mat. This is from one of the stamp wheels that I just stuck on here. And it lets me be able to do this when I'm coloring, and I love that. So, got that. I got a water brush, and I'm going to stick myself to 4 colors. Now, this is part of the analysis paralysis suggestions I have for you. The number 1, limit your choices. So, if I were to pull over all 6 of my crayon selections or my pencil selections, I could be here all night, and ask me how I know. I have literally been sitting here going through colors and testing colors and blah, blah, blah. And that's what took 4 hours to do this before. I don't want to do that this time. So the first tip I have for you is limit your choices. One way you can do that, multiple ways you can do it, but one of the ways I love is to bring stuff where you are. Choose a small selection. Maybe just pick 1 paper pack. Maybe just pick a color scheme. That's another thing you can do. Just don't decide I'm going to walk into my room and use every single thing available to me. That's where we kind of mess ourselves up because that's overwhelming a lot of times. If you're like me and you have a lot of supplies, you would quickly see how you can overwhelm yourself in your crafting space by just going, I'm going to use everything at my disposal. And sometimes it's best just to sit down with a few things. What I'm doing here is I'm using the watercolor, the darkest, closest to where the petals are all kind of in the center. I want the center of the flower to be the darkest. So I'm just laying down the most color there. I'll come back and move all that around wherever I want it in a few minutes. But I'm just picking up color and just coming in here and laying down color. And one of the things I'm doing on this card is I wanted to play with darker color. I found that I think I'm just chicken and I don't use the darker. I go with really light colors because I'm not brave yet. So I thought, you know what? If I'm going to talk to you about being paralyzed in your crafting, I'm going to try something that scares me too while we talk about it. And so darker colors like this, I always feel like I can get much more of a harsh look. So that's the first thing. Just limit what you're working with. Maybe you have something you've been wanting to work with for a long time, and instead of bringing, everything to the table, or instead of going, I can use anything in my craft room, just go, nope, for today, I can only use this. Now that I've got that dark color laid down, what I want to do is give myself some clear water. Can you see that I'm just squirting some water out onto my glass mat? That's another thing. I don't have a lot of my accoutrement here. I've left all that aside, and we're just using simple things to make this happen. All right, so now I'm taking just the water, and I'm pulling the dark out to the edges, and I'm just hoping that it'll get lighter as we go and it'll stay darker in the middle. I have learned I have to be careful not to overwork this because I can easily get this too dark all the way to the end. But you can always come back and lay in more color. And I'm going to clean my brush a little bit as I go. And another tip that I learned is if you put a little water at the end of the petal, let me show you this real quick. If you grab some of your clean water, come down here to the end of your petal where you're going to be pulling some color anyway. Sometimes as you get to there, it will kind of meet and pull the color for you. And it even gives it an even cooler effect. All right, I'm going to clean my brush a little bit. I'm even going to take some of the water off. And that's how I'm going to do the rest of this flower. Just pulling that color out, trying to keep it darker in the middle. So the next thing I want to talk to you about, if you have analysis paralysis, is set a time limit. You guys remember not long ago, I was doing videos where I would start with like, got 45 minutes, let's craft. I enjoyed those so much. And the reason I did is because I knew when 45 minutes was up, whether I liked what I had done or not, I was done. And that's all the time I was giving myself to craft. Now, does that mean that I'm always finishing projects doing that? Like if I got gifts that need to be made or something that has a time frame? Not necessarily. But you'd be surprised how on task you stay and how less picky you are when you only have so long. You kind of just say, you know what? This is how long I've got to craft. I'm going to do what I do, and I'm not going to be upset about it when I'm done. That's what I got done. You know what I'm saying? And I find that I do pretty good setting a time limit. I actually enjoy literally coming in, setting a timer, and going, all right, in 45 minutes, I'm walking away. I'll tell you a place I really like to do that, and that is in sewing. And the reason for that is most of my sewing projects take a lot longer than a greeting card. I can sit down and make a greeting card pretty quickly, you know. But when I'm doing sewing, what I like to do, and this works in any crafting, I like to go into my room and take 15 minutes and see what I can accomplish in 15 minutes. And I have done that where in 1 week, I went into my room for 15 minutes every morning before work. And this is when I was making a bunch of quilt tops, and I was able to get so much work done on those quilt tops. It was fascinating to me how much I got done in 15 minutes a day. But I think I even talked about that in the video we were doing. We were doing the timed craft videos. What I realized was giving myself that 15 minutes 5 times that week, that was, I'm doing math, that was an hour and 15 minutes. So giving yourself an hour and 15 minutes to sew is not always something you can do. But 15 minutes here and there, you would be shocked what you can get done. So try that. Try yourself out. Just say, you know what? I'm giving myself 30 minutes. How many times will we say, I got to be somewhere. I don't have time to go craft. I'm not even going to start. And then it just puts us off longer and longer. But if we just say, nope, I've got this time, I'm going to go do it. Now, you get done what you get done, and you really can't analyze what you're doing too much when you're on a time frame. This darker color, I'm glad I challenged myself for this because this is making such a difference. All right, do you see how that pulled to the end? It was so pretty the way it did that. I'm going to try to get it to do some more of that. Pull out to where that water is and kind of meet up. That dark color right in the center is so pretty, and I don't want to overwork it. I will do that. So again, I'm watering, I'm wetting this end petal. Putting a good bit of water out there. Then I'm going to come in here to this dark and start pulling it out. Hopefully you'll be able to see when the two waters meet. There it went. Did you see that? See how it's pulling it? And if I get to the middle of the petal and I see that it's still too dark like this, I'm going to clean my brush and not get more water and then pull from the edge only. Try to leave some of that dark back there. That's pretty. All right, let me finish this flower and we'll talk about another topic. So there's the pink flower, and it leads me into my next topic, which I think is funny, or my next way to avoid analysis paralysis. So we have to embrace we don't do perfect. And I am now wearing readers, right? So I'm sitting here watercoloring this and I'm thinking, ooh, this is looking really, really good. And right when I finished, I picked up my readers and put them on and looked. And I was like, wow, all the places I did not see that needed to be touched up that now I have touched up. But it was funny because I'm like, the next part I'm going to talk about is not being perfect. And here I am going, oh, wow, that looked terrible. But listen, we have to understand that what we do is made by hand. We do everything by hand, right? And if somebody wanted to receive a gift from you that was a perfect gift, they would ask you to buy them something from the store. Even that's not perfect, okay? But they might say, I want this, or I prefer this, right? Whatever that thing might be. And then you would get that, and they would be happy because they got that perfect thing. But when you're giving something to somebody that's handmade, one of the things that makes it so unique later is looking back and seeing how it was handmade, seeing how you can easily tell that whoever made this did it with their own hands, with their own tools, and it was not machined or manufactured, and it's beautiful. I want you to think back to when you've received a gift from someone. Maybe it's a family heirloom that you have in your family, and whenever you look at it and you can see, like, I don't know, maybe a fingerprint that shouldn't be somewhere, or maybe somebody dropped something on the project while they were making it. Who knows what it was? It's such a comfort to see those mistakes, because it reminds us of the person who did it and what it was like, you know, that they were human, they were a real person doing it, and it changes everything. So when you're creating, I want to challenge you to not even strive for perfection, strive for handmade. That's what we want. I would much rather get a gift from someone that I can obviously see, especially years from now, that it was handmade, than something that's perfect. I look at the things that I've made for my mother over the years. I have tried every kind of crafting there is to do, right? So Mom has pretty much everything. Oil paintings, she's got acrylic paintings, she's got framed collages I have done, so many different things. And I look at them and see all the little mistakes. But anytime my mom would look at them, she would just be like, she made this for me. She made this for me, you know, when she would show it to people. And she was just proud of the fact that I'd made it. So when you're creating, give yourself a break on perfection. We can't be perfect. There was only one perfect person, you guys, and it's not us. We can't be perfect. And so give yourself a break. Give yourself a little bit of room. Another thing is this. When we're embracing the, you know, we're not perfect situation, I want you to very, very, very much so not stop halfway through. If I stopped here because I was really disappointed, I would never see what this looked like finished. But if I keep going, I'll be able to see what it actually turns out like. And at that point, if I don't like it, it's a whole different ball game than right now. Right now, I'm going to change that technique. I almost did that. I want to do something different. Right now, it's unfinished. And if I stop here because I think, oh, I don't like this, I'll never know what it might have looked like finished because I stopped too quick. So keep going. At least finish it. And then if you don't like it, that's a whole different thing. What I'm going to do different with these little buds is, you see I'm just painting them with water. I want to make sure I got them all. Little buds, little buds. I think I did. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to touch my brush to the pink, and then I'm going to come this way so you can see it. I'm just going to touch the bottom, and you see how that color runs when I touch it? I'm going to let that color run onto that little bud, and that's how we're going to color them. Just to give them kind of a concentration of color. That one ran really badly, but look, I learned something. If you'll just take your cloth and touch it, we can pick that mistake up and fix it. And the problem is I had way too much paint on that brush. Way too much. Now I feel like I'm getting way too much water up here, so I'm going to let these dry. And I'll come back and touch those up again. They just got too much water. All right, let's do, oh, there's another place I need yellow. So I'm going to head into the green. Let's talk about another topic. How about this? Using templates or sketches or tutorials. If you're wanting to do some crafting and you're just not sure where to start, instead of stressing too much over, you know, how the end product's going to be, pick a project you've seen that you really want to try. Like for me, it's been this watercolor. I literally saw somebody do something very similar to this, and I thought, I want to try that. I want to see if I can do it. So I just focused on the technique, not the finished project so much. Although the finished project is super cute and it turned into a card, I really just wanted to play with the technique. I do this in my sewing also. There was this bag I saw somebody make on either TikTok or Instagram or something like that, and it was so cute, and I was like, I really want to try to do that. So I just went into my sewing room and did not think about the 900 other projects I need to be doing. I just thought, I want to try this one, and so I turned on that video and I copied it, and I was real happy with the finished result. So if you aren't sure what to do, maybe just be inspired by someone's template, someone's sketch. Especially if you're a card maker, you can get card sketches on Pinterest and different places like that. If you've never seen that, go out and Google DIY card making ideas or handmade card ideas, you will be so surprised what all's available to you that you're not copying it, you're being inspired by. And if somebody out there is putting that out there for you to see, they want you to use it. You know, they're putting out a card sketch for you to use. So consider that. Also, here's another thing. Think about a fast project. Maybe you just want to get into your room, you want to accomplish something. Think about something you've seen fast. Have you ever seen my mystery cards? If you don't know what to do, a mystery card is the thing for you. If you're unsure of adding or putting things in places, a mystery card lets the paper make all the decisions. You don't make any decisions. You can make some. You can make it as much your own you want to, but the mystery cards really make the decisions for you, and those are super fun. So that's another thing you can do is instead of crafting, you know, start to finish a big project, something like that, if you just want to get something done, narrow it down to a template. Another thing I suggest is this. Maybe you're in a spot with your crafting where you do feel like you just can't move forward. You get started and you don't like it. Take a class. This is another one. Same topic. Take a class. Find someone who's teaching something you've always wanted to try, or find someone who's teaching something you've never tried and you're like, I just want to try that. Nowadays, you can take online classes so easy right from your home. To me, that's a great way to get out of your analysis paralysis, is trying an online class. I do that when we have Craft Acropolis. I do it with sewing because I've known how to sew for a long time, but I'm learning different types of sewing. So I take the classes that are offered at our event in the sewing room so I can learn something here and there. And it's really cool. I've learned like a 1 hour apron, you know, or actually 1 yard apron. I've learned different things like that I just kind of have that I can do whenever I want to just go craft. And I learned all that from just taking a class. Look at your local scrap stores or your fabric stores or your art clubs. Look at your art councils. See if they're doing classes. I think it was 2 years ago, Missy and Rodney and Missy owns Rustic Relics. Y'all hear me talk about her all the time. We took a bunch of classes together here at our art council, and it was super fun, and it just sparked our creativity, and I think we'd all do it again. So think about that. Consider following a template, following a kit even, following a technique, taking a single class, and that might spark you in other places in your crafting. Now here's my favorite trick for this coloring. This color I'm fixing to use is frayed burlap, and I think this is pretty. Watch this. I'm going to put this in the middle, just water right now. I'm going to touch to this frayed burlap, touch that in the middle, and let that kind of fall into the little embossed areas. And it does a lot of the work for you. And I found that you can use it up in here, and it's almost like how it is whenever we use like embossing ink. You can just kind of touch it in some of these areas and let it kind of drop in to some of the cracks and crevices, and it really adds some dimension, that other color. And I'm not being heavy with it, just a little bit of it. See if I can get some to drop right down here. And it just kind of brings out the depth. Got a pink petal right, no, that might be a yellow petal I need to do, and there's a green one. Let's do that one. Okay, so I only allowed myself these colors, so I think what I'll do is I'll just do the cup and the frayed burlap. I think that'll be pretty. So I'm gonna color that, and we'll get right back together. All right, so this guy is almost finished, and I'm gonna share with you my last tip, not my last, just the last one for this video, for avoiding analysis paralysis. Find a group, find a community that you can get involved in. You don't have to do it in person. You can do this online nowadays. Our community, the Made-Its, if you're not a Made-It, we'd love to have you. I feel like we are very supportive of each other. We love to see each other's work. We share it over on our Facebook group that we have that's called MaymayMadeIt, and so did I. We also share your work on our customer gallery. We love to see what you guys are doing. Our customer gallery is almost like our own Pinterest. There's thousands of projects over there to inspire you. So that's another way. You know, find some people that are like you. Maybe you might be like, there's nobody around me that's like me. No one does what I do. Consider this. Consider becoming the person who puts the group together. I know it's a big ask. It's scary to do that. And sometimes you feel like you might have to be like the expert crafter. You don't. Trust me. Just put together the group, even if it's just a hangout, have coffee, chat the first time, talk about what your favorite things are with crafting, you know, even if it's just like that, just try it and see what it feels like to start that community of like-minded people like yourselves. It would be super fun to do your own crops. I know a lot of people just find a space that'll hold, you know, 5 or 6 people, and they make a little crop time and they get together and they just create. We do that here. Brenda and I are working on putting together some time where we can get together. She's taken up quilting. It's not, I forget what it's called. Let me think, mosaic quilting. She's taken that up. And so we're talking about we could get together and just put our sewing machines in the same room. We're doing completely different things, but we can craft together and it'll be super fun. So consider that too. Find yourself a little community to get involved in, and you'll be surprised how well that goes for you. If you're unsure where to start looking, places I would suggest, check the library. If you have a art council in your area, reach out to them. Tell them what you're like wanting to try to do. Matter of fact, it's like our art council, they have a location, they have a room that they would probably even let you use to do something like that. Reach out to local churches, see if there's anyone there that they may already have a card making group, or somebody that might want to start a card making group, just waiting for the inspiration. You just never know. Doesn't have to be card making. Like us, when we do Craft Acropolis, we encourage every kind of crafter. I want to see what everybody makes, not just what we do. I like to mix everybody together, and I think it makes a really cool community, and you learn new things that way. All right, here's what the next thing I want you to do is to report back. If you decide, you know what, I'm creating this community, I want you to report back. I want to find out how it's going for you. If anything I've said today has sparked you in any way or made you realize maybe you had some analysis paralysis that you didn't realize you had, tell me that in the comments too. Also, if you're the person who took on the challenge of creating a group around you, if you're already doing that, if you have a group of people that are crafting near you and around you because of something you did, maybe you started a little group, I want to know about that too. So share with us in the comments. While I'm thinking about it, I almost forgot. I don't know if you're familiar with the channel called So Yeah. They do community service projects. So if you would like to get involved in a service project where you could make and send to fill a need that they found in their community or in surrounding communities, or sometimes it's what people have brought to them and told them there's a need, you can get involved there too. And all you have to do, just be one of their viewers. Just join, subscribe to their YouTube channel. It's called So Yeah, and that's all you got to do to be involved. Reach out. Here's another place. Reach out to some card making places. I can tell you my favorite. My favorite is Cards for Kids. And the reason they're the one I link up with the most is because I know that EK, who is the founder, I know he gets the cards where they need to go. He's not just collecting cards and holding on to them. I don't know that other people do that. I'm just telling you, I know what he's doing. I know the work he's doing, and it's easy and fun to get behind him. So we'll put that link in the description, so if you want to reach out to them. All right, I'm going to call that painted. And you see what I did? I put that dark wash behind it. I really like that. I like how that looks. I think I would come through and fade that out. And then this one, I don't think I would die cut it. I think I would let this be the card front. Come in and fade, you know, to make it look kind of antique-y. Come in and grab this with some water. Let's see what happens if I can wet the page and pull it too. That'll be easier. That's really nice. I like that a lot. So this guy will need to dry, and then I can turn it into a card. But let me show you the other ones that I had already done that my video glitched on and you didn't get to see. It'll be fun to see those again after seeing the process. So I did this one, and I did it in the lighter color. And this one I did cut out with the die, and I love how that looks. And then I just popped it up on an embossing folder. That is the new Tim Holtz folder we have called Intertwine. I just popped it up on that. How pretty is that? Then this is a little birdhouse. These are Lisa Horton embossing folder and dies. You can see that that is a die. Cut that out and then put it on that same embossing folder. So I hope that was fun for you to talk about, to hear me talk about what you can do to get yourself going, get yourself out of a slump, keep yourself from going into a slump in your crafting. If you had some ideas I didn't mention, share them in the comments. We love when our community reaches out to each other and tries to encourage each other. So reach out in the comments and let us know if you had an idea too. Hey, thanks so much for being here today. Don't forget to subscribe, give this video a big thumbs up, and until next time, bye now.